Welcome to Estes Park, Colorado, the historic Stanley Hotel, opened in 1909 by F.O. Stanley, most infamous for the inspiration behind Stephen King's The Shining. And for the first time ever, I will reveal on camera my own personal tales of terror inside the Stanley Hotel. My first tale of terror begins here at the concert hall here at Stanley Hotel. About 10 years ago or so, I got to stay here, and at the time they had a ghost hunt. So that was from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. where we got to do various ghost hunting activities. Since then, it baffles my mind, but they actually got rid of that for some crazy reason. One of the staff told us a couple years ago that they were trying to move away from the ghost aspect of this hotel. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is the most haunted hotel in the whole country. Whatever. I don't know. That's their deal. I know it's here. So, the ghost hunt started we all met down here in the little basement area. There's about 30 of us. They split us in groups of 15. So, half the group went up to Lord Dunraven's room, 401, which we'll get to later, and my group stayed inside the music hall. Now, in the paranormal hunting world, believe it or not, I understand if you don't. We do. Of course, we don't believe every single thing we see and things like that. We're fans of ghost adventures, ghost hunters. Some things you're like, that wasn't much, and some things you're like, wow, that was pretty good. You pick and choose what you choose to believe. But there was a cool little trick, because they would have flashlights. So they're the little twist flashlights. You twist the cap off to put the batteries in and whatnot. Well, you would twist it just slightly, so it wasn't it was disconnected by just this much. So you would ask spirits questions. You would ask, is anybody here with us? And the whole idea of it was the energy of the spirit answering you would connect that light. So the light would go on. And our tour guide, our ghost hunt guide that night, had a lot of success with asking different questions and such. They would ask, did you work here? If yes, flash it. If no, then don't. It would flash sometimes it wouldn't. That was really cool to see and witness. After spending about an hour in there asking it questions and such with the light gimmick, we were allowed to go wander around the music hall ourselves. And I went up to the balcony of the concert hall, and the little electrical room where I guess more the spotlight room. If they're having a performance, a person will be up there with the spotlight and such like that. And I walked into there, and I could not believe the electromagnetic energy in there. I had never felt anything like that before or since. It's like it engulfed you as I walked in, and I couldn't believe it. Made like every hair on your arms and practically your head stand up. It was an amazing experience. The funny thing about that was, the next night I came back for the normal night tour. And we once again came to the concert hall. It wasn't nearly as long, but we spent probably more like 20 minutes in there or so, and they let us wander around. I went back up into the spotlight room, and absolutely nothing. I felt nothing. Believe it or not, that's up to you. Another thing that we saw, I'm skipping around a little bit, but at the end of the night, when we all met up down here in this basement, as we were calling it a night around 1 a.m., they had told us a story about a groundskeeper who had died here. He had a heart attack shoveling snow in the 1980s. And they always talked about what a stickler he was for the time, If we're doing something on time, you got to be on time. We're closing up shop at 8 o'clock sharp. Everything like that, he was one of those types. We had downloaded an app called the iOvilus. And again, do you believe it? Is it just random? Who knows? But it kind of senses the energy in the room, and little words pop up, just a lot of times just different random words. But then when I've been to other places outside of the Stanley and tried to use it, we got like nothing ever. So I feel like it was, the energy of this place bringing all those words up. Well, it hit 1 o'clock and our time was up for our ghost hunt. No one was in any hurry to get us out. So, but literally, Get Out appeared on the Iopolis. Was that the groundskeeper contacting us? Still doing his job? You be the judge. Last thing here, again, here at the end of the night. So many spirits of children are said to be here on the grounds of the Stanley Hotel. And they encourage you to give them candy. Leave candy in various different places. I didn't witness this personally, but they said that the staff said that, at times the candy will disappear. But what I witnessed, now, I'm not sure how much I believe this, but I did see it. But there was a sucker, and we had a couple of kids in our group here, and they love ghosts and ghost hunting more than I do. And that's scary. So, anyway, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so they were contacting any ghost spirits, ghost children down in the basement. And they literally made a sucker stand straight up, the stick side up, just like this. Again, I've never seen anything like that before or since. Were they playing tricks? Did they have a little string somehow I couldn't see? Possibly. I don't know for sure. But I do know I saw it. And it was pretty cool. Alright, that wraps up our concert hall portion. On to the next stop. My next tale of terror is what took place in Lord Dunraven's room 401. Now, before I was telling you about the concert hall experience and how our group was split into two. Well, my group was down at the concert hall. The other group went up to Lord Dunraven's room. Now, this is very interesting. So, they came down to switch. So, they were going to go to the concert hall, and our group was going to go to the Dunraven's room. And we had asked them, did you have any experiences? Nothing. Zero. They sat there for 45 minutes in silence, and nothing happened. Spirits don't work on command. That's for sure. So when my group went up to the room, I'll tell you the things that I heard from other people in the room first. Again, this is a second-hand account. And I'm still not sure to this day if they were goofing around or if it really happened. It was a small room, so all 15 of us were shoved in there. So, some people were on the bed, some people were in the bathroom, some people were on the floor. The rooms are a little bit small up there on the 4th floor. And so I was sitting on the floor. There was a couple sitting on the bed. And this guy was feeling so drained of his energy. He couldn't hardly move or speak for 5 or 6 minutes, to the point where his girlfriend, his wife, was getting concerned about him. Now, did they play that up? Was he kidding around? Was he just pulling a prank or a joke on us? Maybe so. But the spirits do drain people's energy. That could have been real, maybe not. Another one, there was a guy in the bathroom. As we were just kind of sitting there in silence, and he went, "Oh God, whoa!" He's like, "I swear I just saw something in the mirror in there." Again, did he? I don't know. But it was pretty startling for the rest of us to have someone burst out like that when we're just sitting in there in dead silence. Myself, personally, this was around late winter, so it was about February when I was staying here. I was sitting on the floor by the door, by the room door, and it came on suddenly. If you follow anything about the paranormal, you've heard of cold spots, which can indicate a spirit within your presence. I felt the coldest spot I've ever felt in my life, and once again, I've never felt something like that before. I've never felt something like that since. But my backside was ice cold. Like seriously, it felt like I was sitting on a slab of ice. It was crazy. I can't explain that. The windows weren't open. There was 15 people shoved in a little room, so it was relatively warm, so to speak. It was just an amazing experience. Something I'll never forget. Now, when I booked my room for that trip, we were told to stay on the 4th floor, as the 4th floor has the most activity. Way back in the day, that used to be the floor that the staff would stay on, so the staff and their children and their families would live up there during the summer times when they were open. So a lot of spirits still linger there to this day. On a side note, I had heard that spirits seem to stick to this place due to the limestone and the quartz that the Stanley Hotel was built on. I guess that kind of rock and sediment holds things in like that. And also, they said about the surrounding water has something to do with it as well. So when I stayed up on the 4th floor, I felt, once again, a couple of things that I've never felt before or since. I was laying in bed one night, and I swear to you, it felt like somebody was sitting next to me. There's no one here. There is literally a dip in the mattress. I didn't know what to think. I did not sleep very well, honestly. It's funny, you come to the Stanley for the ghosts, and then you get too scared to sleep. I guess that's kind of ironic. There was that one. Which I have actually heard other, in fact, earlier today I was just reviewing the episode of the Ghost Adventures when they came here a good 10 plus years ago or so. And there was a lady that they were talking to, and she had the exact same experience. And when she said that, I thought, wow, that's happened to me too. The other thing that happened to me up there is, again, in bed one night, and I felt this pressure on my feet. I'm under the blankets and whatnot, and it just felt like this pressure, It was the weirdest thing. Again, never before, never since. What happened that night, I think, are my true first-hand paranormal experiences. We have one more story for you. Next. My final tale of terror takes place here in the subterranean service tunnels. Back in the day, just behind this door, there was a tunnel that went the length of the hotel. This way the service people could get through quick, easy, fast. Now, right behind this door is the employee break room, which is kind of funny and ironic. I don't know. But on the night tour is the only way to access this. The night tour was sold out tonight. That's why we're giving you our own personal night tour. During my trip, when I stayed here, we were allowed to come down here on the night tour. We were taking pictures, and they just said take as many pictures as you want, see if you can capture anything. Now, I was very skeptical of orbs before this experience. Maybe they exist, maybe they don't. I thought they were dust, honestly. Until that night, when we were down in the service tunnels. There was 3 separate pictures. Sadly, this particular picture I'm talking about has been lost in time. But I saw an orb form. It started to form, and it got big, and it got really big. This is on a series, or maybe it's more a series of about 7 or 8 pictures, and it got smaller and smaller and disappeared. I have never seen anything like that before. It's something you can't see with the naked eye, and it was truly an amazing experience. I wish I saw the pictures, but I know what I saw, and I believe in orbs since that day. That takes us to my second orb story that took place about 3 years ago, and I will let the Queen of Halloween tell you that one.
So, as the King of Halloween was saying, about 3 years ago was my first experience here at the Stanley, and we were taking the night tour. We were in the tunnels, and we have our own K2 meter. If you've never heard of one, it's a device that measures ghost activity. If the light on the meter is green, there's nothing, there's no ghost activity. But as it goes up to yellow, orange, and red means there's a spirit in your presence. And I've been carrying the K2 meter around the entire hotel. It had been green all night. We get into the service tunnels, and it starts to go to yellow a little bit, and I'm kind of standing there poking it around to the different parts of the tunnel back here, and I hold it up to one part of the tunnel, and it goes from light yellowish green to solid red. And it stayed red for a good 5-10 seconds, and then went right back down to green. Well, what I didn't know is that the King of Halloween had been taking pictures the whole time. And when the K2 meter was red, as I was holding it, he took a picture, and behind me, you can see an orb, right on in the center of my back. I believe in orbs, he believes in orbs, we both have our evidence.